Okay, 4.1.12, the last problem, I did a little bit of introduction on what it means to vary directly and what it means to vary inversely, what you can use as your, there's different forms of them, but here's what I use for my direct, and then here's what I like to use for my inverse as my base equations. So again, this was if something varies directly, you're just going to always multiply by some constant, and then this is when it's inverse, I'm going to always be like dividing by my variable on the constant, or if you want to think of that over here, I'm always multiplying by my input onto that constant for direct. So let's see, if we come over here to S varies inversely as G, so if you think about, there's my inverse, S varies inversely as G. My base equation that I would use would look like that. And then they ask, this is like a two-step process to solve it. So if S is 3 and G is 0.8, that's going to allow us to solve for our constant in this problem. So S3, G 0.8, and we can solve that to find our K, our constant for this situation. So if I multiply by the 0.8 to get those to like cancel, if you will, and I multiply this side by my 0.8, I believe that's 2.4. So my K, any place for this one problem now, always has to be 2.4. So then I use that together with this. So my write the variation would be here or here, whichever form. And so what we see, S equals K over G, that would be here. And then the next part to this problem, there was going to be a part B that comes up down here that after you get this one right, that says, okay, so solve for S. So if we know K now, and we're going to still use this equation. So K is 2.4. And then they tell us G is 2. So that's down here, the G right there. And then we're going to be able to solve that to find S. So that looks like 1.2 if you divide those out for my problem for part B that would come up as the second piece of that question. So that was an inverse variation problem where they tell you the two variables, solve for the constant, then substitute the third piece of information in with your constant, and you can find the missing one that they're asking you to figure out. 4.1.12.